So this guy creates this insane and interesting sci-fi stories. Just listen. It's insane.
Man, Prague is wild. It's like stepping into a different world where every corner holds a piece of history and mystery. The history here is off the charts, dude. You can feel it in the air, in the stones of the buildings, in the very ground you walk on. Cobblestone streets, castles, those crazy astronomical clocks. It's like a living, breathing museum. But there's this other side to it, you know? Like a hidden energy, an undercurrent of something ancient and mysterious. The kind of place where you take a wrong turn and stumble onto something totally unexpected. It's like the city has secrets it's just waiting to reveal. That's what happened to me, man. One minute I was wandering around, lost in my own thoughts, and the next, I was somewhere completely unfamiliar. I was wandering around, lost in my own head, and I found myself staring at this weird building I'd never seen before. It was like it just appeared out of nowhere. It was tucked away on a side street, all dark stone and these huge, imposing doors. No windows or anything. It looked like something out of a Gothic novel. And above the door there was this faded sign. It was so worn out you could barely make out the letters. It said the Museum of Forgotten Realities. The name alone was enough to send shivers down my spine. I swear as soon as I read it I felt this chill. It was like the name itself had some kind of power. It was like the name itself sent a shiver down my spine. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was meant to find this place. I don't know why, but I felt drawn to it. Like it was calling out to me, pulling me in, like something was calling me in. It was an irresistible pull, like a magnet. Maybe it was just the weed, man, or maybe it was something deeper, something more profound, or maybe it was something else, something stranger, something that defies explanation. I mean, come on, the Museum of Forgotten Realities? That's not something you come across every day. That's some next-level stuff right there. It felt like I had stumbled onto a hidden world. I had to check it out. There was no way I could just walk away from something like that. The doors were heavy, man. Like, seriously heavy. I'm talking solid oak or something. Took all my strength to get them open, and when they finally swung inward, it was like stepping into another dimension. The air inside was thick and still. It smelled like old books and dust, like something ancient. There was no one in the lobby. No ticket booth, no brochures, no security cameras. Just this eerie silence and a long, dimly lit hallway stretching out in front of me. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I almost bailed right there. It felt wrong, you know? Like I was stepping into a place I wasn't supposed to be. But curiosity, man, it's a powerful drug. I had to see what was down that hallway. What kind of place called itself the Museum of Forgotten Realities? What the hell did that even mean? It was like the universe had dared me to find out. And you know me, I never back down from a challenge. Dude, the museum was a trip. Seriously weird stuff. I'm talking artifacts and paintings and sculptures that made no sense. It was like stepping into a Salvador Dali painting. There were these bizarre, abstract sculptures that seemed to shift and change as you walked past them, like they were alive or something. And the paintings, man, they were even weirder. Landscapes of alien planets with impossible colors and strange, twisted trees. Portraits of people with eyes that seemed to follow you around the room. And these epic battle scenes depicting creatures straight out of Lovecraftian nightmares. Crazy stuff. Each exhibit had a little card next to it, but instead of names and dates, they had these cryptic descriptions. Things like The Last Symphony of a Shattered World or The Unremembered King and His Kingdom of Dust. It was like every object in the museum was a relic of some forgotten history, a history that had been erased from time, leaving only these strange echoes behind. I wandered through the museum for what felt like hours, dude. Room after room filled with these impossible objects, each one stranger than the last. And the silence, man, it was deafening, like the whole place was holding its breath, waiting for something. I started to feel this weird pressure building in my chest, like the walls themselves were closing in. Then I turned a corner and found myself in a new gallery. This one was different. It wasn't filled with ancient artifacts or bizarre sculptures. This room was filled with photographs. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. They covered the walls from floor to ceiling, black and white photos, most of them faded with age. They were pictures of people and places I'd never seen before. Families gathered around strange, futuristic-looking vehicles, crowds celebrating in the streets beneath flying cars and towering skyscrapers, scientists in lab coats huddled around glowing orbs of energy. It was like stumbling onto the set of a science fiction film. Except these pictures didn't look fake. They felt real, Too real. My heart started to pound in my chest. I felt a knot of dread tightening in my stomach. There was something about these photos, man. Something familiar, like I'd seen them before, or maybe dreamed them. As I walked deeper into the gallery, the photos seemed to get more recent. The clothes people were wearing became more modern. The cars, less outlandish. And the feeling of unease in the pit of my stomach intensified. I stopped in front of one photo in particular. It was a picture of a man standing on a crowded street corner. The hustle and bustle of the city seemed to blur around him, making him the focal point of the scene. He was wearing jeans and a t-shirt, just like me. The casual attire made him blend in with the crowd, yet he stood out to me in a way I couldn't quite explain. He had the same bewildered expression on his face that I felt on mine. It was as if he was just as confused about being there as I was about seeing him. But it was his eyes that really got to me. They were my eyes. The same shade, the same intensity, the same depth of emotion. Staring back at me from the photo, it was me. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. A younger version of me, maybe 5 or 10 years younger, but definitely me. My head spun. How could this be possible? Was this some kind of elaborate prank? I stumbled back, bumping into a display case. The impact jolted me, but it did little to clear the fog of confusion clouding my mind. The photos on the wall around me seemed to swim and distort. Faces and places blurred together, creating a surreal, almost dreamlike atmosphere. The air grew thick and heavy, like it was filled with static electricity. Every breath felt like I was inhaling a storm. I could feel my heart hammering against my ribs. Each beat was a drum, echoing the panic rising within me. What the hell was going on? My mind raced with questions, each one more bewildering than the last. Who was this guy in the picture? How could he look so much like me yet be a stranger? And how was it possible that he looked exactly like me? It was as if I was staring at a doppelganger, a mirror image from another time. The ground seemed to shift beneath my feet. I felt unsteady, like the very foundation of my reality was crumbling. The walls of the gallery seemed to press in on me from all sides. The space that once felt expansive now felt suffocating. I had to get out of there. Now! The urge to escape was overwhelming, a primal instinct to flee from the unknown. I turned and ran, my lungs burning, my legs screaming for me to stop, but I couldn't stop. Not until I was far away from that haunting image. But I didn't stop running until I burst out of the museum and back onto the cobblestone street. The cool air hit my face, a stark contrast to the oppressive atmosphere inside. Dude, I sat there on the curb for a long time trying to catch my breath. The night was eerily quiet, the kind of silence that makes you feel like the world has paused just for you. I could hear my own heartbeat, loud and insistent, as if it was trying to remind me that I was still alive, still here. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what I'd just seen. It was like my brain was a jigsaw puzzle and someone had just thrown all the pieces into the air. Was it some kind of elaborate prank, a trick of the light, or maybe I was just losing my mind? Had I wandered onto the set of a hidden camera show? I looked around, half expecting to see a crew of pranksters laughing at my expense. Or was there something more to it, something deeper, something that defied all logic and reason, something truly strange and inexplicable, the kind of thing you only read about in science fiction novels or see in movies? The more I thought about it, the more I realized that there was no logical explanation. I'd seen those photos. They were real, tangible. I'd seen myself in that gallery. It was like looking into a mirror, but the reflection was from another time. Another place, and I knew deep down that something wasn't right. It was a gut feeling, an instinct that I couldn't ignore. Something about time and reality felt off, like the very fabric of existence had been twisted and warped, like the rules I'd always taken for granted had somehow been broken. Time didn't flow the way it was supposed to. Eventually I managed to pick myself up and stumble back to my hotel. Each step felt heavy, like I was walking through a dream. I didn't tell anyone what I'd seen. Who would believe me? It sounded too crazy even to my own ears, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something profound had shifted within me. It was like a door had been opened and there was no closing it, like I'd been given a glimpse behind the curtain of reality, a peek into the unknown, into the mysteries that lie just beyond our understanding, and what I'd seen both terrified and exhilarated me. It was a moment of clarity, a moment of acceptance, and a realization that the sands of time are always shifting, always changing. I tried to put the museum out of my mind, tried to convince myself that it was all just my imagination, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right, something was calling me back. So the next day I found myself drawn back to that dark, narrow street, back to the imposing doors of the Museum of Forgotten Realities. The museum was just as I remembered it, silent, dusty, filled with impossible objects, but this time, I felt a strange sense of purpose, like I was meant to be there. I made my way back to the gallery of photographs, back to the picture of my future self. But when I got there, the photo was gone. In its place was a small handwritten note. It read simply, "Don't worry, it all works out in the end." The Museum of Forgotten Realities, man. Was it real? Was it all in my head? I still don't know for sure, but I'll never forget it. It's like it burned itself into my memory. A reminder that reality is a fragile thing, and that sometimes, the most important truths are the ones we can't explain, or remember. The weirdest part? When I went back the next day, the museum was gone, vanished, like it had never been there at all. Maybe it was all just a dream, or maybe, just maybe it was something more, something real, something incredible, something impossible.
Yeah, I also seen other videos, and it's very interesting what he is saying.